friendly neighborhood PhD, and you're listening to the TyePod. Well, hey, everybody. It's another episode of the TyePod, and today I'm joined by Randi, who is a entrepreneurial coach. And I guess you started off as a personal trainer, but I'm sure we'll get more into that. But yeah, looking forward to visiting with you about the work you're doing, to help people with disabilities and chronic illness, start up businesses and everything, and learn a little bit about you and your story too. So I sure appreciate you coming on.
I'm so glad to be here. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Looking forward to it. But I do want to start off with the icebreaker that many of the audience members I think have gotten used to by now. But I'm curious if there's a current song that you're sort of into, or one that you feel like, you've kind of resonated with through your journey through health and everything too.
Song not in particular.
Mhm.
But I've gotten really into listening to lo-fi, like the specific like concentration, like hyper focus,
Mm,
lo-fi beats that are like designed to help you stay focused.
mhm.
And so for like my ADHD self who struggles with like my brain running everywhere, that's really helped me lately. And I never
Mhm.
really thought of it as being a useful tool before,
Yeah.
but I just kind of like happened on it and I was like, "Oh, cool. What's this?" Started listening to a few and they really helped me stay focused. I was never a big
Nice.
music person, so I never really had favorites
Hmm.
before. I'm still like exploring music
Exploring.
all around. But the like
Yeah.
if I have like one favorite right now, yeah, I've been listening to a lot of those.
How recent was it when you found that helped you with focus and everything?
Like, couple months ago, I
Oh
started
wow,
listening to
nice.
more of them. I started with, like, just going for those, like, lo-fi beats, looking for just, like, the cafe beats, the calm, the mellow, um,
Hmm.
just to have, like, that little bit of background music, and then it just, like the algorithm started feeding them out,
Yep.
and I was like, "Ooh, what's this?" And clicked over, and I was like, "Oh, this is" yeah, like, and I'm,
Yeah.
like, just bopping along as I'm typing.
That's nice when you find something like that, kind of unexpected, that helps you, I don't know, channel your focus for sure.
Yeah,
Like I remember in grad school, I almost couldn't go a day without something kind of just playing, lightly in the background. But yeah,
yeah.
I definitely get where you're
I
coming
have
from.
to have some kind of noise in the background or absolutely nothing.
Mm, mhm.
And I do and I think this is a little bit weird, but, like, I really like having, like, the TV on in the background, like, I like
Yeah.
having, like, conversations on in the background, and especially if I'm doing, like, admin tasks and the boring stuff.
Mm. Yeah, just kind of that background for sure kind of
Yeah,
helps. Yeah, I'm that way a lot, I think, with just in general, with, needing some noise in the background. So that's
yeah,
very cool. But yeah, I'm gonna have to I need to tune into that style of music a little more to see what it does for my focus too. So yeah.
yeah.
I'm always curious to figure out, kind of what people are listening to, and try it out, since I'm kind of a music person myself. So yeah. Um,
My husband's a big music person,
oh
and
really?
if I didn't have my background blurred, you'd see, like, a huge tower of records behind me and record players beside me,
Nice. Old
and so
school.
he is the big music person, and I sometimes wonder how, like, we connected, like, he is so into his music, and I'm just like, "Cool, I love a good beat," like,
Yeah,
I'll
yeah.
listen to whatever's on, like, I'd prefer not, like, heavy metal or country preferably.
Mm, mhm. Somewhere in between those 2. Yeah, very cool. Well, I definitely wanted to get into kind of your personal story, like, if you wanted to share just, like, overview highlights, and kind of, start into talking about your health journey too, and we can kind of go from there.
Yeah. So I am hypermobile and I'm also neurodivergent. Um, I started having real struggles with my joints
Mm,
when I was like in my early 20s. Like all of a sudden, I started like putting my hip out of place and I started getting these like sharp pains in my chest. And all of my life, I had always been the clumsy kid that rolled her ankles a lot. And
mhm,
I got like all these headaches and neck pains and just like all my life was like mysterious pains
mhm,
and no real connection to them. So in my early 20s when I started like having these hip pains and like I was working an office job at the time, so it was like
mhm,
I was kind of like okay, well like it makes sense that I'm in pain from sitting all the time, but also like I'm not a super active person, but I'm not doing anything that should really be causing this. So I started seeing different professionals. I started going to like massage therapists first to help because I thought it was just like a muscle pain.
Mhm.
And one of those massage therapists kind of directed me to like told me like I had some like joints out of place, and I started exploring that. Um the long story short of it all is like I went from doctor to doctor to doctor, and everyone gave me kind of like a I don't know kind of thing because I kept
Mhm.
going to them for like specific things. Like I would go to one doctor for my wrist and one for my neck and one for my hips. And it wasn't until I met up with one, he was a physiotherapist, and I just like I lost it. I was like so stressed. I was like this was like 10 years in of dealing with mystery pains and fatigue, and like some other symptoms were starting to pop up, but like I just never knew what was going on. And I just like dumped it all on him,
Yeah.
and he was like, "Oh, you're hypermobile."
And just
And
all
I'm
this
like,
and
"Cool story. What does that mean?" And he was like,
yeah.
"Ah, you're just like you're extra flexible." And I'm like, I don't think that like that's what that like really means."
Yeah.
So I did some like follow-up research on my own. I actually ended up getting really interested in the like medical side of it. Like I've always kind of
Mhm.
thought like biology was a very like neat idea. Bodies are
Yeah.
neat. Sometimes like the way they malfunction is just really interesting, like the different kind of disabilities we can have.
Mhm.
And I just really liked all that stuff. So I decided that since I also needed a job, I went back to school to be a therapist assistant and
Mhm.
to explore my own body and anatomy and everything else a little
Yeah.
bit more. So I learned a lot there, and it was really amazing. And like the big thing that I learned is that like people with chronic pain and chronic illness, for the most part, don't have a lot of ongoing support when it comes to fitness.
Mhm.
So that's where like the becoming a personal trainer came in.
Okay.
I felt like I had a unique perspective on chronic pain and like dealing with like needing to find adaptions and stuff like that. And at this point, the only thing any doctor had told me was, "Oh, you're hypermobile, like work out more. Just try
That was their only
exercise.
solution, huh?
Just try exercise." It's still honestly the only thing I'm really getting from most people.
Yeah.
Um, the thing about it is that you have to exercise in a very specific way, and you have to know how to adapt to your body, and you have to know how to modify these exercises. So
Mhm.
like, oh, if I could go back and just like have some real nice words with some of these doctors who told me to just try exercise.
Right, right, and I mean,
Um,
at the time, you were probably thinking, like, to trust them, like, they should know something, it seems like, and then, when you're
yeah.
misled that way, that's really gotta be difficult.
Yeah, like the first couple doctors, I was like, all right, bet I'll go to the gym.
Yeah.
And I started going to the gym, and I couldn't figure out like why I couldn't progress, why I kept hurting myself in these weird little ways, like
So
why I
every
could
time you would
never
go, like,
like,
something would get injured basically or
yeah.
yeah.
And like, so I was constantly on this like, boom and bust cycle of like, I'd feel better, I'd go, I'd push myself, I'd hurt myself, I'd have to take a really long break. And
Mhm.
like, so I was just like not progressing at all. So when I kind of learned that like one of the bigger gaps was ongoing fitness training for people with chronic
Yeah.
conditions, like there was like physio if you get injured, and like sometimes physio if you have a particular disability. But if you're just not going to really get better, but you need to exercise to maintain, there's not a ton of help out there.
Yeah.
It's just it's one of those gaps that I found. And so I went on to take the personal training stuff and combine the therapist assistant stuff with the
Mhm.
personal training stuff, and I helped a lot of people find different modifications and different ways they can move. And I started learning more about intuitive movement, and
Mhm.
so it's like intuitive eating but movement.
What does that look
It was
like?
just a
That's an
lot more.
interesting term.
It's just a lot more based on like listening to your body, and so
Mhm.
where like traditional fitness would push
Oh, I see.
having like a set schedule and always doing this, never miss a Monday, no pain, no gain kind of like mentality. Intuitive movement was like, well, why don't we check in with ourselves today? Why don't we see what kind of movement we want to do today? Why don't we, figure out if this is going to feel good, if this is going to help us? And for a lot of people, that worked so much better.
Mhm.
Um, I did that for 6 years. I loved it. I had some clients that I worked with for almost that entire time. And they were just like they became good friends. We just like we worked out weekly. It was great.
Yeah.
But meantime, a lot of my issues were getting a little bit worse.
Mm.
I'm starting to struggle a little bit more with my joints, my fatigue, and like there was just a lot of times where I would have coaching sessions scheduled and I just like could not, like
Mhm.
migraines or just pain and tired, and like I couldn't keep up. So I had to decide that like fitness was no longer for me. Um, because we are, if every anything, like adaptable people, right?
Yeah.
So I had to decide that that was no longer for me. I shut down my coaching business. I tried to focus. I had a safety job that I could do part time and just did
Yeah.
that for a little while and kind of explored what else I could do because I knew that I didn't want to just do that.
Mhm.
And I decided that of all the things that like I can do and that I really like to do, I might as well take this time to follow a dream of mine, which was writing. I've always wanted to be a writer.
Mhm.
So obviously I went for like more professional style writing, content writing, not the most awesome time to be a writer as AI is like a thing now.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's
Um,
there's pros and cons, I'm sure.
it's a thing.
Yeah.
But then so, like, as I was doing this, I'm, like, trying to build up my services, and I'm like, "Okay, what can I offer?" I can offer blog writing and email writing, and, like,
Yeah.
I love doing those things, that's awesome. But, like, what I realized that, like, more people needed was, like, the whole strategy of it all. Like, what kind of blogs they need, like, what kinda emails should they even be sending, like, how
Mhm.
should they set up their email? Um so I started adding in content strategy there, and then that kinda turned into a little bit of, like, coaching because I could do, like, a little bit more. Because I built my first business, not knowing anything about
Yeah,
business.
and that was the personal training,
Yeah,
like, side of it, okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I built that one not knowing anything about
Yeah.
business and, like, getting a lot of that, like, traditional advice. Oh, it was just, like, working, like, trying to do personal training where I'm, like, not going for like, that traditional advice, like, I was
Mhm.
anti-diet and not, like, the whole, like, no pain, no gain,
Mhm.
and also looking for, like, business advice that didn't go for, like, that hustle, hustle, show up
Mm,
every
yeah.
day, be constant, and all of that, like, I had to find what was gonna work for me
Mhm.
on all of it. So,
Yeah.
like, I found a lot of answers and I found some systems that work really well when you have low energy and I found
Mhm.
what works. Um, so as I started building this new business, I was like, well, I mean, obviously I should be helping other people with chronic illness and disabilities and neurodivergent minds build their own
Right.
cozy businesses because there are a lot of us out there
Yeah,
that are building businesses of our
absolutely.
own. So
I mean, it is like a huge saturation of, you know, of I think kind of the chronically ill community, that seems to be a common direction they go,
yeah,
kind of building a brand and building up, some kind of business style
yeah.
program for sure. Yeah.
And that's because there's not a lot of options for us. Like oh my gosh, I spent hours looking for work from home jobs because like I
Mhm.
just don't feel like I can work outside of the house so well anymore. I
Yeah.
know that I'm gonna be that like it's like I'm kind of at that point where like maybe I could, but I'm gonna be the really unreliable employee. I'm gonna
Yeah.
be the one calling in sick a bunch of times. I'm gonna be the one who like can't quite keep up to things. And
Mhm.
like I just hate that. I don't want to be that. So I want to work for myself.
Yeah.
And I don't wanna have to call in sick to people anymore,
Well, and
like,
it brings in
so over
like the flexibility, I think, too, right? Like when we're at home kind of running our own pace, it's easier to just take
yeah,
whatever symptoms or anything that we're dealing with at the
yeah.
time. Yeah.
And I mean, like, sometimes I'm working in my office, sometimes I'm
Yeah.
working from my bed, sometimes I'm, curled up on the couch, like,
Mhm.
whatever kinda works for me during the day and, like, how I feel, and being able to just, like, set my stuff aside too and just
Mhm.
being like, "Well, that's not happening today, like, I don't have the mindset for it,"
Yeah.
um, and not having somebody else being after me
Mm.
for that is
All
great.
those pressures on
Yeah,
top of it. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Did you find that it was hard for you to sort of let go of that personal trainer, business that you had built up and everything and realize that you had, to pivot and change?
Yes, very much so, and I did love it, and, like, for a good while, I tried to figure out how I could still integrate some of it
Mhm.
into what I was doing, but, like, overall, it was just something that, like, I knew I didn't want to stick to anymore. I wanted to go in a different direction, but, like, I loved it, and I did love talking to people about health and wellness and fitness, and,
Mhm.
like, I'm still so happy to talk to people about it all,
Yeah.
um And that business that I built was my, like, it's my little baby business. That's my
Hmm.
first one. Like, that is where I started with everything, and so, yeah, I felt very emotionally attached to it, and it was
Yeah.
hard, and I definitely held on to it probably a little longer than I should have.
Well, that's understandable. I would say for sure. And do you feel like now, are there elements, that you learned from that first business that you still kind of incorporate, even though it's obviously not the same, program or direction, but it seems like there would be some carryover maybe.
Yeah, and mostly in the basis of, like, and this is what I teach a lot, the systems that you set up for yourself. Like, when I first started, I was really trying to focus on, social media, and
Hmm.
I built everything into Instagram and Facebook, and, like, that was the big focus. And I didn't have a website, I didn't have a place for people to find me otherwise, and that was a detriment to me, that was a
Hmm.
problem. It seemed like it was gonna be less energy, but, like, I was constantly trying to keep up with, the algorithms
Yeah.
and, like, the way they keep changing things. Oh my gosh, they keep changing things, and, like, all of that, and I had no place of my own. So, like, building a website is one of my, like, strong beliefs that, like, for a good business to be sustainable and easy and low energy, you
Hmm.
need to have a good website set up because
Okay.
that's something that will bring people into you from Google, from other sites. You can link everything to it. You can show people who you are, what you do, all from one place, and it's not going to change the algorithm. Like,
Yeah.
they're not going to, like, your website is going to be yours. It's going to stay what you need it to be.
I've been curious about that because there are, so many different social media platforms now, and it feels like you have to have a presence almost on all of them
And,
at
like,
the same time.
it doesn't hurt to have a presence on some of the biggest. Like,
Yeah.
obviously, like, I still have my Instagram. I right now just set up a 9 grid setup for my Instagram though. So if you don't know what that is, it's basically like a 9 posts that's going to work as a landing page. And I am not posting to that grid anymore. I'm sick of Instagram. I'm over their changes. I'm over their algorithm. Like,
Yeah.
they are not for their people. They're not for small creators. And so I just don't want to play their game anymore.
Have you found
Um,
any that are even close to what you really want as a small time or for smaller time creators or
oh my gosh, I use Threads a lot right now.
okay. I think that's where I found
Threads,
your page the first time. Yeah.
yeah, and that's where, like, I've met, like, all of a sudden I got on Threads and I was just, like, meeting people left, right, and center, starting some
Mm,
great conversations. And hey, like, I realized they're owned by the same people, but I don't know, they did well on Threads, but they sucked at Instagram, and so, like, I'm
yeah.
still watching them. I don't expect it to stay
Well, maybe it
perfect.
was something from like the Twitter fallout too. Maybe they got something right
Yeah.
when it kind of, went crazy.
They had to
I
get
don't know.
something right. I honestly, they had original Instagram, right? Bring back original
True, very
Instagram.
true.
When they
Yeah.
bring that back and it's not.
It's so weird to me too. Like I started using it really heavily for the first time, like I want to say 3 years ago. And for like the first year or two, like I went from basically no followers to like 2,000 and but it was still like organic and I felt like it was going the right pace. And like this last, I don't know, 6 to 8 months has just been totally different. Like the whole system is just, you
Yeah.
know, completely opposite of what it used to
And,
be.
like, I mean, I'm not a social media manager, but
Yeah.
I have a lot of theories on it. I spend a lot of time on social media.
Yeah.
One, Instagram became a place where businesses did their thing. And for businesses, this is great. For not businesses, this means that all you're seeing is business stuff and you're being sold
Mm,
to constantly. I see a lot of people complaining right now that their business posts aren't getting any engagement. But,
mhm.
like, no one wants to engage with that. Do you want to engage with that? I don't want to engage
Not
with
so
that.
much. No, no.
Like, that's just not engageable stuff. So, like, and a lot of people are like, "Oh, well, like, why does my post about my dog barfing on my carpet get so many like, comments, but, my post about my product doesn't?" I'm like, "'Cause your post about your product is boring, and
Right.
nobody wants to, like, talk about that." And sorry,
Mhm.
like, that is just what it is.
Well, that's just like
Um,
where our attention goes.
yeah,
Yeah.
and so, like, you really have to, like, go at marketing really differently, and that's
Yeah.
kind of like why that's why I think websites are really important, and because the next thing I would always recommend is putting up a blog. Both of
Like
those
as
give
part
you,
of
like,
your
that, like.
website or like
Sorry?
as like part of the like your landing page website or a different like platform?
I mean, if you can have, like, a website with more than just one page,
Yeah.
even better. The nice thing about blogs is it really tells people like who you are, what you
Mhm.
do, like how you do business. And like when somebody comes to that and they can, even if they're just going to scan through it and read through it, they get more of a concept of like why they're hiring you.
Mhm.
And all of those things are searchable on Google. You
Okay.
can set up like you don't have to post blogs consistently. If you set up the right 10 blogs even
Mhm.
with the right SEO like keywords and stuff like that,
Mhm.
that's all you need to do. And those blogs will keep working for you forever. Keep them
Right,
updated,
right.
keep them going, keep them posting every once in a while. And they're so repurposable. Like
What about like overall investment? Like what is, because you have Instagram, like all those have like paid ads and paid content versus, like I don't know what it takes to have a website up and maintain it if there's any cost associated with that.
so there is a little bit, and it depends on who you host through.
Mhm.
I know I pay a little bit more because I decided that I really wanted to have like I pay a little bit extra for my hosting. I host with SiteGround. They are rated one of the top for security and for customer service. And I
Mhm.
can say that when you mess up your website, they are really good at fixing it for you.
Well, that does
Um,
happen some, I know for sure.
very important things, right? And they had a really easy website builder. So when I signed up
Mm.
with SiteGround, you get like a 1 year fairly cheap, but it does go up a little bit after that.
Yeah,
I don't think it's like too much in comparison to like a lot of the other like I mean, if you're gonna pay for ads in other places and stuff too. And
yeah, yeah,
like the price is negotiable. Like you can pick and choose what you want. I use a specific like builder that makes my pages really pretty and stuff
yeah.
too. Like,
Do you find that
I
it's pretty
chose
like
something that did
customizable?
cost a little bit more, but that's where I put my money and like I don't pay for ads or anything
Gotcha.
anywhere else. Like
Yeah.
all of my other stuff is organic. And so I've got people coming in from Google and from Pinterest. And also, I always have a lot of things to link to from, if I'm going to post something to my stories or to
Mhm.
threads. And all of that brings them to my site where they can find all of my services, which is
So
very,
everything's sort of
yeah,
streamlined, and then you're pulling
yeah,
in resources beyond like Instagram or Facebook as
yeah.
well. So you're
Which, yeah,
yeah,
and everybody will say, like, yeah, you can do the same thing on Instagram, but then, like, what if Instagram shuts down? What if it glitches for the day? What if,
yeah,
are you gonna lose access to your clients or
right. Well, and I guess in some sense it is sort of, moving from something that's, every business and everyone all in the same place. It's like,
yeah.
kind of distinguishing yourself as your own sort of entity when you have your own site.
And I think a lot of people are seeing that with, Etsy now too, because a lot of
Mm,
people have, like, their Etsy shops instead
right.
of having a website of their own, and it's for sure easier, absolutely, but now Etsy's algorithm is prioritizing, paid ads and bigger companies, and they're getting a lot of,
Yeah.
like, AI on there, and I don't know, Nazis,
Mhm.
like, they've got all sorts of problems now, and I know a lot of people are having to, like, shut down their Etsy because they're just like, "Oh, I can't be part of any of
Wow.
that,"
Yeah. Yeah.
and, like, so they're losing all of what they had, whereas if they
So
had
like
a
it's almost
website.
like if they start off with their own website, then they're gonna sort of insulate themselves against something like that, maybe.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
How do you feel, I guess, just overall about AI and how it's influencing, businesses and everything? I mean, it seems like it's just everywhere you look
I
anymore.
definitely have some up and downs on this. Like,
Yeah.
I legit use chat every day. She's my bestie. She helps me with so many things. As a fatigued person with a neurodivergent brain, ChatGPT is so helpful when I just like, those just like the little things when you just need to like organize a brain dump or get
Yeah.
a quick list going or build up like an outline for something, get some ideas. So fantastically amazing. I would never use it for something creative.
Yeah.
I am not pro AI in any, creative, like, to write stories or to make
Yeah.
videos or like, I just think that it needs to stay away from the creativity side of things.
Yeah.
But when it comes to, like, helping as, like, an assistant, and
Mhm.
especially when you just, like, you're working for yourself, you don't have the money to hire somebody else,
Right.
like, it helps so much, and you still have to, like, know how to use it, you have to know what you're doing. I think that
Right.
the really important thing that, like, a lot of people don't realize with AI is that, like, you have to know what the answer should to
Mhm.
be able to use it effectively, because it could be wrong, it
Yeah.
could lead you in the wrong direction, and so if you just say, "Give me a blog," and it does, it's
Yeah.
probably not gonna be a very good blog, and if you don't
Right.
know that, you're
Then
gonna
I
put
mean,
up with
obviously the
lots of
quality is going to change based on,
yeah,
what you give it. But like that's almost like any tool in a way, like when it's a new technology, it's like
exactly.
it depends how you implement it, to me. So like
Yeah,
as somebody that, I have a really hard time typing large amounts of content. And like back when I was in graduate school writing like my dissertation, like that would have been so great to be like,
yeah,
create my table of contents, and like update
yeah,
it. I mean, just all those little kind of tasks that a lot of us with, with diseases or chronic illnesses, like
yeah,
we need so much to have that support. I mean, it's almost like an accessibility tool that we use
yeah,
with other activities. So I mean, I like that it's not so black and white like some people want to make it. It's all good or bad, but I'm like, for us in
oh,
the
yeah,
communities we're in, it's like there's parts of it that are life changing for a lot of us.
yeah, no, it's been a game changer, it's so helpful in so many things. I've been able to
Yeah.
accomplish so much more so quickly, and just as, like, a solo entrepreneur too, like,
Mhm.
I don't have anyone to talk to. So, like, sometimes I can tell I use my chat a little bit too much. She knows me
Yeah.
too well now.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll, like, pitch ideas out to it, like, "Hey, what if I did this?" And it's like,
Mhm.
"Okay, yeah, you could do that." She's always very encouraging. She's like, "Yeah, you totally could do that." And then I had
Yeah.
one like, a little while ago be like, "But do you need to be doing that right now?" And I was like, "Oh, no,
Really?
chat, you don't."
Wow, it's getting
Like,
getting serious.
yeah. No, it's crazy, like, when you spend enough time on it, it
Yeah,
really
yeah.
does start get to know you and starts to, like, get its own little personality. It's
Mhm.
creepy
But
and
also, like,
amazing.
the change in cost, like what you're saying, like, for us that, we can't afford to, like, pay an assistant or set up a
Yeah,
big company. It's like, in a lot of ways, how else would we get some of these things done without it? And
exactly, yeah.
yeah.
It's so handy, and
Yeah, yeah.
I do wish they'd stop mixing it into every single platform.
Right. Well, like, yeah, you're right. Even, well, like Apple has one that they built in now, and I
They
mean,
all
it's
have one now.
yeah, and they all will rewrite, everything, and it's just like if we had more specialized, like you knew these 2 places were the ones to go to, but now
Yeah.
it's just like they're everywhere. Yeah, I know
Oh,
what
well,
you
I mean,
mean, yeah.
it's feeding off of itself now, like, there's so many
Yeah.
people putting out AI written content, which is
Mhm.
problematic, that AI written like, AI is
Yeah.
picking up on the AI written content, it's just in a feedback loop now,
Yeah, yeah. I'm curious
so
what your thoughts are though, like, say somebody has an idea for like a graphic or a logo or schematic, but they don't have necessarily the artistic side to create that. Like what are your thoughts there? Is it like, I mean, I know sometimes, like in my case, I've looked for creators in the community, but that's not always, the easiest either. So like what are your thoughts on sort of that side of it?
it's not always accessible to find somebody. Logos are one of those, like, difficult gray areas because it does
Yeah,
take creativity, but it is also really, like, analog and business based, right? Like, it is
right.
just kind of a logo, and especially if you're doing something like, I mean, my all my logos were just built on Canva. Like, they're
Right,
eh,
right,
to build a logo, if you have the, right kind of tools, is not super difficult. To get, like,
right.
the right logo, you gotta get the right person. Like,
Yeah.
so, I mean, like, yeah, if you need to have a logo and you can't use the other things, like that is
Mhm.
what you have available to you, then yeah, like, do business the way you need to do business because
Yeah.
we don't need to be gatekeeping the ability to make money. That's
Right,
dumb.
right.
We're not
And
in,
even I know in some
yeah,
cases, I mean, obviously it's not for business necessarily, but for like, certain things I'm doing for content or whatever, like I'll feed it. I made this image in Canva, like,
yeah,
analyze this, based on data on, other
yeah,
successful ones or like what it should incorporate, like I've used it a little bit like that too. And it's just like, oh, well, it's ideas of how to optimize or change it maybe, which I mean, it's not like, like the code that you have to follow word for word, but
yeah,
nice just to get some feedback, that you might not get
yeah.
otherwise.
It is an incredibly handy tool as long as you use it responsibly
Yeah.
and you're not like I don't know, as long as it's not discrediting other people. If
Right,
you
right.
weren't gonna hire a person anyways, like, there was just no way you were ever gonna hire a person to do your logo anyways,
Mhm.
then you're not taking away a job from somebody else. You weren't gonna give that job to somebody else. You were going to just probably either use AI for it, or you were gonna use Canva for it, or
Yeah,
something else.
yeah.
So
Yeah,
it is
it's
that.
just so many
It's like
layers, I think.
I think I only really pull away from it when it comes to things like telling stories and
Mhm.
sharing, like, if you were going to like make art and like put it out there as art. I do know that there are a lot of like AI artists out
Yeah.
there who use it and they manipulate it, and I give them like props, like they're talented as
Mm.
long as they're not putting it out there, not disclosing that it's AI.
True.
By all
Taking full
means, I
credit
guess
for
keep
it. Yeah.
doing. Digital
Yeah.
art is going to be a thing. Like, we're in a digital age. Like, digital
Mhm.
things are gonna be things. As long as we use them responsibly and we don't let
Yeah.
it, kind of, like, sully the good things that we have, I guess?
Right, right, and, like, as long as it doesn't replace, the human elements that make things,
Yeah.
good the way they are, then, yeah,
Like,
I'm
I
just like,
still, like, I mean, I spend a lot of time trying to explain to people why they shouldn't just write blogs with AI.
"Oh, wow,
Like,
yeah, yeah, not
like,
good."
because, like, it's just not going to speak to humans. It's
And you
not
can
gonna have
tell.
that human element to it,
Yeah,
and it's
yeah,
going to read like robots.
yep,
You need and nobody wants that. Nobody's
and,
gonna
when
wanna
you
read that.
get a dash every other sentence, it's like, "Oh, okay."
Oh my
It's
gosh, I've totally started using M dashes more
yeah,
because of the conversation in it. If anybody ever says, like, the, like, dot, 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 if anybody says that's a sign of AI, I'm
mm,
screwed.
oh,
I use
man,
those
yeah,
so much.
I know what you mean. Yep, let's just hope that doesn't happen.
Yeah, but,
Yeah.
like, yeah, it has its place.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. I did wanna circle back to your, like, website and kinda having control over things, like, how do you make it where it's accessible? Do you, like, have someone that checks that, or do you have a tool that kinda helps you build in, like, accessibility functions, or is that something maybe
I
you're looking at?
I'm still looking for the right tool for accessibility. So
Yeah.
if anybody has any suggestions on plugins for a WordPress website that helps with the accessibility of it all. The last one I had, oh man, every once in a while, having a WordPress website is a pain in the butt.
Mhm,
Plugins will just like mess things up. The last one I had kind of like did weird things to like the back end pages, and all of
mhm,
a sudden I couldn't read anything. So I'm still looking for the best one for that. I have been working on um, following some of the basic rules of all of the accessibility, making sure that my writing is large enough.
mhm,
I do think I need to go through and change. I think my font is maybe borderline color wise. I
mhm.
like it. It's kind of like a gray, but like I don't know if it shows up for everybody. Um, Going through and putting in alt text has been like that one's really good for you SEO and for accessibility. So that's been a big thing that I've been learning a lot about. I didn't know anything about any of that when I first started building my first website. And then I learned about it and I had to go through my like 800 images on my site and put
Oh
alt
my
text into
gosh.
all of them. Like, oh, it
Yeah.
was too much. It was so much.
That
So
seems
I've
like
been
something
working on
AI could help
that.
with, but maybe not.
Yeah. I definitely know, like, my site's not perfect as of yet at
Right,
it,
right.
but I'm really, like, working at making sure that it's easy to navigate and easy to find what you're looking for, like,
Mhm.
you're not gonna have to click around too many things to find what you're looking for.
Yeah, yeah. And I
Trying
mean,
to make
like,
it as easy like
it
that.
seems like when you're new and starting out and when you do have, kind of your own self-run thing, I mean, there is obviously a learning curve, and like you can
Yeah,
iteratively improve, I think, on that as you go. So
yeah,
it's there's too many things to consider and add in for it to be just all of a sudden,
yeah,
it's the perfect website that,
yeah,
encapsulates all, disability needs. I mean, that's a difficult task, I think. So
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
The hard one for me, because I'm a writer, is I
Mhm.
do tend to overwrite. So, because my big start was in, like, blog writing where,
Yep.
like, you wanna write something more to, like, get
Elaborate.
the picture out there, but when it comes to website copywriting, you don't want to have too much because it's overwhelming. You wanna get your point across,
Mhm.
the smallest amount of possible that looks good and that's gonna, you know, give the good idea and direct them in the
Mhm.
right place. And so that's definitely one that I'm still working on, I think.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
on my
That's
own site, it's so easy to do these things for other people. So
yeah.
many things about like blog writing and content strategy and like copywriting and stuff like that. So easy and so fun to do for other people. So difficult for me to do for myself.
Yeah, yeah, that is a kind of a conundrum at times. It seems like easier to give advice. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm curious, like, are there any, kind of stories or specific examples of, people in the chronically ill community that you could kind of share or talk about, or even if you don't share details, like any, kind of examples that you really
Um,
learned from?
so I've just started, so I've only worked with a few people so far. I
Okay.
think one of my like best success stories right now, she does advent calendars
Hmm.
and stationary gift boxes.
Hmm.
They
Okay.
are so adorable. She was just kind of lost in where she was going with things and like sometimes like especially when you're just like doing it all on your own, like you just need to like talk it out with somebody and you just need somebody to be like, "Hey, why don't you?" And like I find that most of the time I'm giving people a lot of answers that like they know, but like
Mhm.
they just needed somebody else to be like, "Yeah, no, do that." So I sat down with her for a clarity call. I do these like 90-minute clarity calls where we can like focus in on like one issue
Mhm.
and really get like a plan for you to like take that next step forward. Um and I did this with her, and I've gotten like a message from her every week since saying she's sold a couple more of her advent calendars just from like
Yeah.
changing a few little things about like her content strategy, like a few little things on her Instagram. I'm just like, and I think it was just like she got reinvigorated to do the
Yeah.
things too. It's just it made me so happy. Like I loved getting these messages from her being like, "Hey, it's working. Hey, people are seeing these. Hey, people are messaging. Like, I'm selling these things. It's so great."
Mhm.
Like, so awesome. I loved it.
That's interesting, that I think sometimes we kind of spiral in, or at least in my case, like overthinking, like everything, and it can be kind of, somewhat paralyzing, I guess, at times. And sometimes it's like you said, all it takes is like an objective
Yeah.
person sort of coming in and bringing some new energy to it. And,
Yeah.
sometimes that's
I
the
find that, like,
step.
realistically, most people know what they want to do. They
Yeah.
just don't quite like, there's some block somewhere. Like,
Hmm.
whether they just, like, they're not too sure of it or they feel like they need, like, the permission to take that step.
Hmm.
I find that, like, in especially a lot of with what I do, I'm often telling people that, like, it's okay to take a step back.
Yeah.
And that is what helps them move forward. And like, so, sometimes I just need that, like, yeah, no,
Yeah.
it's okay. You can do this.
Yeah.
This is allowed. This is good. This is awesome. Like, and I love being there for people and being able to do that.
That seems like a good strategy too for like when you have, like a chronic illness or something, because I think the tendency is to always feel like, we're not doing enough, and so we have to do
Mhm.
everything, and sometimes that's not the best strategy for the business that you're starting.
We like, I don't know. If there is a God, it's like a cruel joke. We were just given so much ambition, those of us with bodies that don't work.
Yeah.
I don't know, like, is it like a balance thing? Like, the more your body doesn't work, the more you just wanna do
I
stuff and
think
you want
so. It
right?
feels that way.
Like, everyone that I meet who has some kind of, like, physical something holding them back, they
Mhm.
have so many ideas and such a passion and such a, like they really wanna go and do all of these
Yeah.
things, and, like, it's just a cruel joke on us for sure that, like, we
Yeah.
all have this, and so we all constantly have to be reminded to slow down, to
Yeah.
pace ourselves, and I hate it. I hate telling people that. I hate
You
being
hate
told that
Well, I was gonna say you
because I
probably
don't
hate hearing yourself say it.
I don't wanna I
Yeah.
don't wanna slow down. I get it. I get it. We don't wanna slow down.
Yeah.
However, like, recognizing the power in taking that break sometimes
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
like the power in like pacing yourself and making the adaptations to your business and setting systems up in a way that like are going to fit your needs.
Yeah.
It's just a whole another set of taking control of your life and your
Yeah, you're
business.
right, you're right, and sometimes, I mean, as hard as it might be, just intentionally trying to scale back just enough might be all the difference that you need to, and it keeps you from burnout too, which is,
Yeah.
something I definitely know causes a lot of problems personally, and it
Mm.
seems like, for a lot of
I
us,
mean,
that
my gosh, like,
over-ambition.
show me a person with a chronic illness or disability who's been, like,
Yeah,
not already a little burnt out,
yeah,
or a
exactly.
neurodivergent brain, like, who's not just,
Yeah,
like, tired. Like, we've got too many other things to deal with. We got
mhm.
symptoms going on, we got appointments happening, like, I've
Another
got too
full-time
many things
job.
in my, like, just inside my body to think about, let alone my
Yeah,
life, let alone my business, to be adding anything, like, extra.
mhm.
I don't need it right now. Tell my neurodivergent brain that some days is very difficult. I have to tell myself, "No, do not," a lot, but
Yeah, yeah, and I'm curious, like, how the pandemic, like, with COVID and everything, like, how did that change kind of your perspective on that, or, like, how, you approach it?
a little bit, so I kinda had, like, a bit of a unique situation during the
Mhm,
pandemic. My safety job, I was working as a support worker for another person with a disability,
mhm,
and, so obviously, like, she could not just be without her support worker, so, like,
mhm,
I worked through the whole pandemic.
mhm,
And, like, I worked both of these jobs, like, my support worker job and my personal training job, so, like, my brother and my husband both got to stay home, and, like, I was still go, go, go the
mm,
entire time. Um, Watching how everyone was adapting, like, I was already trying to figure out how to adapt to people who were in this different situation,
mhm.
and it was just, like, it was a mind trip just watching everybody else, like, try to catch up to it, like,
Yeah,
as, like, the pandemic hit, like, suddenly everyone's trying to figure out how to work out at home, and I'm like, "Hey, guys, I already know how, you want me to help you out?" And then,
yeah,
like, literally every other personal trainer was like, "I have an online program now," and it was, like, the same thing with the AI, like, it
yeah,
was just, like, poor timing, I don't know.
mhm, mhm,
Um, but yeah, so I don't think, like, the pandemic had, like, that kind of effect on me. I
yeah,
definitely do love the effect that it had on everyone else in their view of business. Like,
mhm,
I feel like everyone else is catching up to how I've always kinda saw, like, I always saw things that, like, a
right,
little bit differently. It was always a problem for me. I always thought I was, like, I don't know, the weird one. Like, why am I, like, the one who doesn't think that we should be, like, burning ourselves out and going and, like, commuting an hour both ways? Like, why is this, like, just me thinking this? And then the pandemic had everybody catch back up, and I was like, "Hey, guys, hey, like, so
yeah,
now you wanna talk on Zoom? Like,
exactly,
you
exactly,
wanna stay cozy now at home and
level
talk
the
about being
playing field a
safe?"
little bit there, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, no, that's funny because I was doing a lot of hybrid work even, well before using the since deceased Skype back in the day. I was using that all the time. And so like, yeah, it was like, well, I've been doing that for years, like
yeah,
and now I almost feel like, after everything sort of became more accessible in that way, it seems like the drive is to go back away from
yeah.
that back to that,
Oh,
stress burnout thing.
I spent those first 2 years from 2020 to 20 like, just,
Yeah,
"Why didn't you guys do this sooner?" Like,
yeah,
they put in, like, deliveries for groceries, and suddenly, like, all these people with disabilities and, like, these seniors and stuff like that had no
right.
problem getting their groceries. I'm like, "Why didn't we do this? You guys always had the ability to do this, like,
Mhm.
why weren't we doing this
Shouldn't take a
sooner?"
world-ending pandemic, yeah.
Yeah, and I was just like, I spent so much of that time just being angry at
Mhm,
everybody else for, like, not having adapted sooner, for this having, like, caught them off guard so much, and
mhm.
they had no plans for it, and, like, because, like, I mean, obviously, like, this affected everybody on a global scale, but, like,
Yeah,
there's so many of us that this affects daily, every day, like,
before and after the pandemic too.
yeah, like, I mean,
Yeah,
like, how many kids would, like, probably missed out going to school because they had chronic illnesses as children,
mhm,
or disabilities that, they couldn't fit into the space.
yeah,
Like, how many kids had to miss out on, doing those kind of things, or, like, connecting with some of their peers because they couldn't physically interact?
mhm,
How many people with autoimmune issues had to, like, isolate themselves
right.
because nobody had any understanding of it, or
Yeah, exactly,
we
exactly.
still lack, for sure, still lacking.
But do you feel like in general though, it's still like the gains are still kind of there more or less?
I think overall,
Yeah,
society has a better understanding of a lot of things.
mhm,
That understanding has gotten convoluted in some places, but overall, I think we have a better understanding of mental health, of physical and, like, overall well-being, of
mhm,
what it takes to be a healthy person, even when you're not a healthy person, like, you need to have that social
Yeah.
interaction. You need to have that little bit of movement. You need to have a space that is conducive to your comfort and, stress
Yeah.
level staying down.
Maybe some like New Balance too that wasn't necessarily, incorporated before.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
think a lot of people had their like, their worlds rocked and they had their perspective shift.
Right.
And
Right.
I think it really just made everybody else catch up to those of us who were already disabled and already slowing down and already looking for different ways to do things.
Yeah.
Turns
Yeah.
out we were way ahead of things.
Right. And that, yeah, there are things that can be learned from our group and our way of doing things for sure.
I mean, it's
Yeah.
like universal design, right? Like
Exactly. That's what it is. Yeah.
designed to help people with disabilities.
Well, I
However,
mean,
it
it's like
also helps everyone.
right, right. And it's almost like something where, say they have wider sidewalks. Well, that isn't the only thing to help, people with
Yeah,
wheelchairs or whatever, like,
yeah.
wider space for bikes or people just walking. Like
Now
there's,
everybody can use it
benefits.
comfortably. Like, what a
Exactly.
crazy concept.
Right. And if it was done that way to start with, imagine how, you wouldn't have to retrofit or,
Yeah.
constantly be redoing everything either too. So yeah, that's
And now all
interesting.
these people are doing like I still do every once in a while look for like work from home jobs.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, and now so many of them are going to like these like hybrid models where they're like, okay, well, like you get to work from home. Oh, but like BT dubs, you got to come in, 3 times a week. Like, oh, okay,
Mm-hmm.
cool. But like that's not what I was looking for. And they're all coming up when you look up remote work
Mm-hmm.
because yes, it is. But
There's going to be some element that's in
yeah,
person. Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
and just who wants to do that? And like, wants to work in a gross office with gross people coughing all over everything and, like,
Right.
talking to you? Gross.
Yeah. 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 I can relate to
I'm
that a
like
little bit for sure.
I'm an introvert
Yeah.
with ADHD and possibly autism who gets, like, overstimulated by noise and
Hmm.
light super easily, and, like, people coming at all oh, working at
Yeah.
home has just been like I love it, I love
Really
it, I
good.
love being at home. People think I'm like my brother thinks I'm crazy, like, he works in a restaurant, like, he is a very social person,
Mm-hmm.
and he thinks, like, I'm crazy, he doesn't know how I can do it, and I'm like, "Oh, I'm just so happy inside my house all day with my dog and my snacks
In
and
your
my
comfort
comfy bed."
zone. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
just, like, get up and like, go lay down for a few minutes because my back hurts, like, that's great, like
You can manage and yeah.
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 I
Like do
wanna, like,
everything to
not
fit.
do for a little while, I can just put
Yeah.
stuff down and watch TV for a bit. I can change up what I'm doing.
Well, is that how you kind of came up with the like chronically cozy life, title and everything?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And like I guess
I
as
am
it
I
kind of
am all about comfort. Comfort is
yeah.
everything. If I am not comfortable, I am not happy, I am not doing it. Like, I am 38 years old, like, I no longer need to be uncomfortable, I don't see a point.
I feel
Um,
that.
right? Like, I'm gonna be where it's most comfortable, like, I haven't worn jeans in years, like, not
Hey,
doing
I haven't
that.
either actually. That's a good
Oh my
point.
god, jeans, ugh.
Yeah.
A belt? Ugh.
Just keep me away from those restrictions, right?
No, thank you. No,
Yeah,
thank you.
yeah. Well,
Yeah,
yeah,
everything's all
let's
about comfort.
kind of wrapping up a little bit on things like where can people I know you said you have a website. Can you tell people like where what that is and how to get in touch with you if they are maybe starting a business and wanting to get some help from you?
Yeah, so you can find me at chronicallycozylife.com. I offer gentle business coaching and I offer blog writing and email writing and content strategy. I also have a really amazing community of chronically ill entrepreneurs. We have a server on Discord that you can come and
Mm,
join, and we share our wins, we share our struggles, we like support each other. It's a fantastic little group. And I'm trying to do a lot more with it, get a few webinars and stuff going.
yeah.
I'm also getting my YouTube up and going more because for those of us who are Canadian, it's the only platform that actually lets us monetize. So I've been adding more to my YouTube lately, started my own podcast there. It's
Oh,
really fun. So
nice.
you can come check me out there. Chronically Cozy Life everywhere. Come
What
talk
is
to me
the
on threads. It's unhinged a little bit.
that's not always a bad thing. Yeah.
No, it's the one place where me just talking a lot and having a lot of random thoughts has really panned out for me.
Yeah, it's the place to kind of, put all of the thoughts that go through our minds and
Everything comes
yeah.
out and goes in there.
Yeah, yeah. What does the podcast format look like? Is it sort of you sharing like tips or experiences, or what does that look
So
like?
often I talk to other chronically ill entrepreneurs. They share some of their stories of how they've built their businesses.
Okay.
And I've had a couple who like they work with other chronically ill entrepreneurs and stuff like
Mhm.
they are coaches or something.
Mhm.
And so they share their own tips. I've got some on money mindset, some on client management systems,
Yeah.
and the last one I just posted actually up today is all on AI.
Mhm.
So it's a
Timely
really
discussion
fantastic
then.
conversation. Oh, I've just been like loving it. I love talking to people and
Yeah. And I
connecting
mean,
about all this
there's a
stuff.
lot of learning people, need with AI going on right now. So yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And is the YouTube channel, is it the same chronically cozy?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Chronically Cozy
Awesome.
Life.
Cool. Well, that's really great. Well, I will share that with the audience, and hopefully, I'm sure there's some entrepreneurs that are in both of our audiences that will be interested in maybe
Come
reaching out.
hang out. We have
Yeah,
fun.
yeah. I sure appreciate the time, Randy, and I'll be in touch and look forward to seeing what you do next.